Hello, during the next 10 minutes we will discuss the most important business events taking place between September 17th and 23rd. This is events around the corner on Kazakh TV. The global oil market might see a drastic change on September 17th. Snap parliamentary elections will be held in Greece on the 20th. The Moscow ID Forum will take place in Russia's capital on September 22nd. Let's discuss this news in detail. The US Federal Reserve will take a decision on raising the pivotal interest rates on September 17. The Fed has been conducting an easy money policy, creating additional dollars, which led to a low value of borrowed money. It was expected that when the value of borrowed money goes up, prices for raw materials will grow, but this didn't happen. This policy helped smaller oil companies survive under conditions when crude prices are low. The companies borrowed easy money and started increasing their production. As a result, the supply surpassed the demand, and the market was oversaturated. Experts believe the situation will go back to normal when the money's value increases and the market is free of weak players. However, not everyone agrees on that one. Some analysts believe that if the Fed hikes benchmark rates, oil prices may fall due to investors fleeing all assets markets but American. Huge monetary flows will be redistributed, with investors leaving developing countries to buy risk-free US assets with higher profitability. On the same day, the Iran nuclear deal will be considered in the USA. If Republicans succeed in terminating it, the oil prices may go up. Presently, the possibility of Iranian oil coming to the global market prevents crude prices from growing. A preliminary agreement to lift the sanctions is already putting pressure on the market. The crude price sank to its 6-year low. According to some estimates, if Iran comes back to the oil market, the price will drop by $5 to $10 per barrel. Citigroup believes the global oil market could face a serious challenge on September 17. They recommended their clients to be cautious about crude trading around this date. The autumn session of the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly will be over in ULAN BATOR on September 18th. It will gather around 200 parliamentarians from 57 member states. This year, the agenda includes unsolved and recent threats to the security in the OSCE region, as well as the role of parliaments in developing the cooperation to address these challenges. A Central Asia roundtable is being held within the frameworks of the forum. It will include heads of OSCE's field operations in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Speakers and parliament members will discuss a broad range of topics, including the fight against human trafficking and terrorism, food and water security, development of democratic institutions, human rights and freedom of press. Kazakhstan's Investment Opportunities Roadshow will be held on the same day in Singapore. The top management of the government of Singapore's investment has been invited to attend. GIC is one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, which invests in a broad range of assets in more than 40 countries. Earlier this month, Kazakh ambassador to Singapore, Nurlanbek Kuzhatayev, had a meeting with the corporation's chairman, Lim Seong-gwan. The ambassador spoke of the country's socio-economic development under a new monetary policy. He also dwelt on the basic provisions of the 100 specific steps to implement 5 institutional reforms. Lim Seong-gwan said Kazakhstan was the most advanced former Soviet Union country in what concerns state governance and economic reforms. On September 19th, Brazil's Agriculture Ministry will start the audit of Russian fish processing plants interested in exporting their products to this country. The decision was taken at a meeting between Assistant to the Head of Roselkosnadzor, Alexei Alexeyenko, and Deputy Secretary for International Relations at the Brazilian Agriculture Ministry, Odilson Ribeiro e Silva. The Russian watchdog said that the Brazilian side would inform of the requirements applied to fish processing companies, the list of inspectors and their program in Russia. In addition, the parties discussed operational issues of defining the authenticity of veterinary and phytosanitary certificates required for food imports to Russia. Snap elections to the Greek parliament will take place on September 20th. Prime Minister of Greece, Alexis Tsipras, has filed a corresponding request to the country's president. The Greek parliament lost a parliamentary majority after the Syriza ruling coalition opposed an agreement with foreign creditors to regulate the Greek debt. During the past few months, 49 out of 149 Syriza representatives in the Greek parliament announced they would no longer support Tsipras. The electoral campaign of the party was built around rejection of strict budget economy. In addition, the conditions of the third package of aid, which includes serious reforms and cutting of public expenditures, contradict the party's position. Tsipras hopes his party wins in the elections again, but only the members who support the current policy will join parliament. Different polls show that this is quite possible. The popularity of Tsipras makes him the front-runner among other candidates for premier's office. The annual international conference titled Week of Competition in Russia will start in Moscow on September 21st. It is organized by Russia's Anti-Monopoly Service. Week of Competition in Russia is a series of events involving representatives of governments, businesses, international organizations and competition authorities from around the world. Let me remind you that on August 27th, the Federal Anti-Monopoly Service held a meeting between the Russian and Kazakh sides to implement the fair roaming principles. The meeting included anti-monopoly bodies, industry regulators and key mobile operators of both countries. Fair roaming principles aim at reducing roaming tariffs as close to domestic mobile communication rates as possible. Deputy head of FAS Andrei Tsiganov said all the Russian mobile companies are having a dialogue with their Kazakhstani partners. He is sure in the near future subscribers would be able to use new tariff packages, making travelers' lives easier. On September 21st, a regular meeting of the working group will be held within the framework of the Week of Competition in Russia. The results of the talks will be summed up and discussed. The Moscow ID Forum will be held in Russia's capital on September 22nd. The conference will gather Russian and foreign developers of equipment and solutions based on automatic identification technologies. Mobility and automatic collection of data will be discussed at the event. Experts will present latest trends in using the technology in supply chains and optimization of business procedures. The US-based Zebra Technologies will open the ID Forum. The company will present BATOR, an Internet of Things platform for businesses. Zebra Technologies has published the results of research by Forrester Consulting. IT managers from more than 600 international companies operating in various fields were involved. According to the poll, 90% of transport and logistics companies have already introduced some solutions based on Internet of Things technologies or plan to do so within a year. 96% named the Internet of Things a strategically important high-tech direction for their companies for the next decade. 51% of the companies polled believe the Internet of Things might increase compliance with government regulations and operational activity of organizations. 45% of respondents are sure the IoT technology will boost safety. 44% of them believe IoT is crucial for improving economic efficiency and increasing the transparency of logistics chain. On September 23rd, the Agriculture Ministry of Russia is expected to provide a package of proposals to limit the livestock owned by smallholders. The idea was initiated by Stavropol Krai Governor Vladimir Vladimirov. The head of the region was appalled by the fact that some Russians own more than 14,000 sheep and 1,500 bulls without having been registered as individual entrepreneurs and paying insurance fees. The governor believes that they create social tensions and damage public lands, since they don't have their own. According to Vladimirov, the maximum number of livestock per smallholder should be 5 heads of cattle and 20 sheep. The government initiative was received with controversy by farmers. Some of them claim this is being done to support large businesses. An attempt to limit the livestock owned by smallholders was made in 2009. A draft was submitted to the State Duma to entitle the authorities to limit the livestock as they deem appropriate. However, the document was not passed. This has been our perspective on the events of the coming week. You've watched Events Around the Corner. See you next time on Kazakh TV.